Hey, welcome back everybody. Hey, just real quick, little intro. This video is primarily about final assembly on the chassis, suspension, fuel tank, a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. Brake system, brakes, different odds and ends, pieces, parts. If you guys have any questions or see anything kind of crazy going on, shoot me a message in the comments. Appreciate you guys watching. And here you go, here's the video. All right, so front end assembly. I've got my fixtures back in to set ride height, and forgive me, my kids are out front playing basketball, so it's a little noisy. But upper and lower control arms, I got the sway bar still yet to put on. Cleaned up the little blocks. I just left them raw. It's kind of strange what I care about and what I don't care about. Left the center link, everything raw. Got a new drag link. Just trying to go through and use good hardware for final assembly. I have the, I've got to realign or figure out. I understood the inside steering arm bolt was for power steering, but that's not what I got it aligned with. So for the sake of alignment, I'm going to just bump it right back out. I have to do a little bit more homework on that. I'm sure it's simple. Here's the rotor and front brake assembly. It's really nice. Anodized 6-piston Willwood brakes. A little bit of alignment left, but these are the, I believe, the thicker rotors, which have a lot better, or like really good air circulation, real good venting. I got everything kind of pinned. Got all the washers in, got all the Zerk fittings in. Got all my brake fittings mounted, blocks done. Everything's shimmed the way that it was when it was aligned. Same with the driver's side. Got my brake line blocks. I went ahead and drilled and tapped and installed my block for, or the, it's not a proportioning valve, but it's a little T block. I bought these as a kit. You know, I think it's important, you know, for anybody that's trying or thinking about trying to do one of these is to just keep it simple, right? So when it came to getting parts for the plumbing, I just went online and I looked up a bunch of different year Corvettes, even F-body parts, and everything had a proportioning valve right here. And I didn't want that because I have a proportioning valve in my up top in my tandem master. So I just needed a simple block. So I found something I thought would work, used the same size lines. I think everything I'm using is 3/16 front and rear. And literally just tried to keep it simple. Bought something, I think these might be for, I think C2, I can't remember. But anyways, they may not even be for Corvette, to be completely honest. But I got them in a kit that came with the rear blocks, which are installed. Got the diff hung, got one trailing arm hung, and I'm working on this right now. But just replace the shims, you know, put everything back the way it was when it was aligned. Got my sway bar in, sway bar mounts, all that good stuff. Have all my diff brace Delrin bushings installed. Sorry. So a project that I'll be taking care of here soon, I'm working with a buddy that I think can build the shim that I need, but pinion angle shim, right? So if I just needed to pitch the front up, which honestly, this thing's pitched down like significantly. So it needs to come back up to match at least a similar angle as the transmission and driveline. So right here, I'll be, oh goodness, okay. So I'm gonna put a shim, a wedge shim here, and I'm probably gonna machine that Delrin bushing there or change it out to a poly. Depends on how lazy I am. I'll probably machine that or have it machined or do something, put that on a belt sander and just put a taper on it. But if these weren't Delrin and they were poly, I would just shim it down to what I needed it to be. And then these things would rotate, you know, and the poly would be adjustable, right? But it's not. These are solid bushings. So if I don't put the correct degree wedge in there, then these will bind and that's bad news bears. So I got a little bit of work to do there. I just need to measure and draw something out for my buddy. So I got the tank installed. It's a Tanks Inc. EFI tank. Comes with the fuel pump, sending unit, all that stuff. It did not come with the filler neck and cap, but it does come with all the hardware and gaskets, which is really nice. Overflow, all of this was separate as well. Just got my fittings back from this. The old ones did not have this pass-through wiring fitting. It had just little posts for eyelets, so this is kind of nice. I'll put, hopefully, like a nice weatherproof plug on that. Otherwise, everything came to where I can install it very nicely, nothing too crazy. So this is ready to go. This is tightened down, or not quite. I want to get it aligned, but I'm going to go ahead with this regulator. This is the same regulator that they use in a lot of cars. I think a lot of LS applications. It's super nice and simple. It's got the return set up in the regulator. So this is a regular and return all in one. I guess technically this is a filter as well. So I'm going to keep it simple for now. I just need to find a place to mount it. I had this from when I had my C5 and I never replaced mine. So I'm going to use this, and I bought like a GM Quick Connect fitting set for these. So all of these anodized fittings I bought off of eBay, real straightforward. 3/8 and 5/16, I think, are the sizes, I believe. Yeah. So anyways, that's it for the fuel system for now. As far as the back half of the car is concerned, I'd like to get the body on before I start trying to route. I may do some preliminary stuff just to get it up, so when I do put the body on, I'm not trying to make this all work, with my eyes closed, since this will all be covered up. So that's it for the tank. So I'm getting ready to assemble the rear kit. Got the hats, rotors in the back, pads. I'm gonna send these pads back. I think these are the 10s, BP 10s. I'm not 100% sure, but they should be. And I'm gonna run the BP 30s, which is about as aggressive, I think, as you can get before you go to what they would call a race pad. So for what I do, the BP 30s are really good. Definitely a step up. You can track with those pads, do sessions, and not, if you're not crazy, like this thing's not going to be entirely overpowered or anything like that. So it'll definitely serve its purpose. So that's the plan. I'm going to get to work on this now. Okay, something worth mentioning is I believe these hats come in aluminum and steel. So the fronts, if I am correct, were aluminum, okay? Rears are steel because they're used as the internal drums for the emergency brakes. But more importantly, I believe for this model year car, they come with the correct bolt pattern, but in 7/16. Okay, and if you remember, I went big boy ARP 1/2-inch studs. So everything had to be drilled out, which, the reason I'm mentioning this is because I think there was a day when I would be scared to drill into a really relatively expensive rotor hat. And the reality is that these are hub centric. They're not centered on the lug nuts. They're centered on the actual hub for these specifically. All right. So the reality is no matter how big these holes are, it'll fit, pretty snug, machined correctly to the, to the axle hub on the trailing arm. So anyways, I just used a 1/2-inch bit, and then because of, not everything's 100% square, I went to a 9/16 tapered bit, and that actually tapered the edges as well. And it's super clean, slides right on, perfect. So I would taper and indent. It's thick enough, or thin enough rather, that I can use this taper bit on both sides. You can see a little bit of a ridge there, but that's negligible, right? So anyways, if you're going to go to a 1/2-inch stub and use this Willwood kit, you're going to have to drill out the stud holes. All right, well, believe we're 100%. I'm gonna leave that sway bar loose. Don't really need it right now. I'm still not exactly where I want to be, and I think I'm just gonna have to deal with it as far as alignment, as far as the frame alignment is concerned with the A-arms. Like, for example, my sway bar is kind of shifted over to the right a little bit compared to where my A-arm locations are and sway bar links line up. So anyways, that's just got to get over it. But everything's adjusted. I had to, clearly ream these as well as far as the stud holes in the hat. Had to get this alignment square. Originally, I had replaced the steering arm, but it was still off, but that's why Willwood gives you shims. So those are shims, the rear ends together. Here's the e-brake assembly. Let me see if this get this a little better. But everything's routed. These are the braided lines that you get from Van Steel. Everything looks really good. Oh God! I got so many boxes. My garage this is a little bit of a mess. Anyways, all right, sorry about that. I got these toe brackets from a 15 Z28 I had for about 5 minutes. I never put them on. I'm still gonna probably make something for the rear diff, but I thought, man, these things fit perfect. So as long as they clear everything, it's a nice little addition, right? Makes things a little convenient. Certainly did that for the front. I'm probably gonna do something to where the old monoleaf used to mount. I'll probably put a plate or something there. Otherwise, that's it for chassis assembly. Got everything mounted. I mean, I'm pretty stoked. I got a lot done this weekend. So, yeah, that's it for that. All right, and just like that, the garage is a complete mess. So, appreciate you guys watching. I've got some cool stuff coming up. Well, I think it's cool. Vintage air install, both the condenser and evaporator. And then along with that, we're going to start working on cooler placements, oil cooler, power steering cooler, stuff like that. Got the firewall closeout panel for the condenser, and then what else? Radiator install. So working on these things now, trying to get some stuff together to share with you guys. Thanks again. Subscribe, like, notifications, all that jazz, or not. Appreciate you guys hanging around and watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.